What's going on, world? This is your boy Reggie. Welcome to another edition of 100 Yards of Running, week number 7. But before we go any further, there's two events that I want y'all to check out on Saturday if you could. The first one is the Pop-Up Powerbomb Halloween Rodeo. Check them out, Brooklyn. This coming October 22nd. I think that's this weekend coming up. So if you're not doing nothing, make sure you check them out. Also going on Saturday, my homeboy in Death South Rodeo Wrestling, my homeboy Skrilla the Great, going one-on-one with NXT's Lexus King. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. October Rush 2 coming up, so make sure you check that out. Without further ado, we're going to dive right into it, but I do not do this alone, ladies and gentlemen. I want to bring on my brother, August Stevens.
Whoa, nah, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? How you doing, brother?
Yo, man, I ain't gonna lie, dog. The theme song we got for this show, I used to be on the drum line back in the day, so I was in here jamming, son.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. But what a week 7 we had, man. We got a lot to talk about. We
Yeah,
called it this one. Let's dive into Thursday night. Broncos Saints, man. Sean Payton came in there and he wanted to win. He came in there with Bo Nix and that young Broncos defense and offense. And let's face it, they put up points, man. Talk to me.
all right. So I'm at the point with the New Orleans Saints where now it's becoming an embarrassment, right? And the most embarrassing part about it is Mickey Loomis is going to come out with all these excuses. Oh, we have so many injuries, right? Well, the problem is all of these injuries are soft tissue injuries, meaning it's not broken fibulas or whatever, which Paulson Debo does have that, and that's unfortunate, right? Taysom Hill has a broken rib, that's unfortunate. But the majority of these injuries are soft tissue injuries, meaning if the training staff would do their job, if they wouldn't run everybody hard on Fridays, because it's just supposed to be a walkthrough. So how are people
Mhm.
getting injured during walkthroughs? That's a problem. Number one. Number two, on Drew Brees night of all nights, you let Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos come in here and walk and stump a mud hole in your face. That was embarrassing. It was embarrassing by every word. And Dennis Allen needs to be fired. Mickey Loomis needs to be fired. There needs to be an entire regime change in the city of New Orleans for the Saints. And there's nothing more to say about it than that.
To me, the Saints went downhill once that center went down, going through 4 centers, continuing this week in the NFL, losing your quarterback. That's not the way to go, Saints fans. Y'all need to look at your coaching staff and figure out what's going on in New Orleans because this is not it.
And
Moving
then
on.
we lose. Hold on, one more thing. We lose Rashid Shaheed for the season. He's out. So now we not only lost offensive line, we're losing wide receivers. The only two good things, Kamara is injured. You know what I mean? So the only three good things that this team had on offense left, and two of the three are out.
It's I mean it's bad. Like we said last week and the week before that, it's bad. And the NFL trade deadline is coming up. Everybody's talking about Alvin Kamara might be on the move to another team. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll see as this week's go on. Sunday morning, we had a early game where the Jaguars played the Patriots, defeating
Mhm.
them, blowing them out by a score of 32-16.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence was red hot in this game. To me, and the Jaguars, they was desperate for this one. They had to go out there and put this one. And let's face it, New England is not the same team anymore. Talk
No,
to me.
no, man, they're not the same team anymore. And to his defense, Gerard Mayer was trying. Um, The quarterback needs some work. It's too soon to say if he's a bust or not. I don't think so, but I think great teams, their head coaches know what they're good at.
Technical difficulties. Like he said, great teams know what they're good at, and I mean, like I said, the Jaguars was hungry. The Patriots, they tried. Gerard Mayo is a defensive minded player, and he's a defensive minded coach. And he's going to go out there and try to get the best players that he can on both sides of the football and go out there and grind. Unfortunately, the Jaguars grinded a little bit more on both sides of the football and came out with the dub.
Yeah, man, it's unfortunate. They're trying, but I think, like I was saying, when you don't know quite what to do on offense, you bring someone in that does know. Gerard Mayo, his specialty is defense. He was a defensive guy. So
Not to cut you off, brother, but we on Instagram live too. So shout out to the people that's tuning in on
yes, sir.
Instagram.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for
Uh,
showing your boy love, but continue to what you were saying, my brother.
but yeah, man, they need to bring someone in that's going to revolutionize the Patriots and the Patriots offense.
Indeed.
Especially because you got this young kid, you know. So right now he's malleable. He can really become anything that you want him to become if you point him in the right direction. And so he's got to bring in somebody that knows what they're doing.
Hmm. I agree. We had a lot of 1 o'clock games on Sunday. Let's dive right into it. We had a battle of the birds in this game. We had Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks taking on Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. Where the Seahawks was impressive this whole game. They was desperate for a win after losing to San Francisco Thursday night. And they went in there and to me, they did what they were supposed to do. Everybody was talking about Geno Smith, how much he's improved. He was the most improved player last year in the NFL, completing over 50% of his passes for the first time in his career. To me, talk to me. What do you see in Seattle?
If I'm being honest, nothing. They beat the Atlanta Falcons. Hooray. He did what you were supposed to do. Geno Smith being a quarterback that only completed a little over 50% for the first time is not a good sign. The average quarterback that is elite creates anywhere from 68 to 72% of his passes. That is far off. You know what I mean? And if they don't have that Legion of Boom defense or they can't recreate it, um, they're gonna be in the middle of the pack.
I mean, with the NFC being competitive the way it is,
Is it though?
Seattle. I mean, it's still early. They could be a dangerous team in the playoffs, man. I mean, I'm
But
not gonna
that's I
sleep
mean,
on their
so
defense.
that's the
Kenneth
one
Walker
thing.
is back, playing healthy. He was one of the running backs last year that led the league in rushing.
Yes, it was. Yes, but
Okay,
see, that's
so
one of the things, man. You know, they if they're going to be successful, they have to do it now. Because if the NFC starts getting their stuff together and they start getting quarterbacks and they start building up these teams, the Seattle Seahawks are like Geno Smith ain't gonna make it, and they know this. The reason they stick with Geno Smith right now is because the entire NFC as a whole sucks, and that's facts.
I mean, yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, I really can't argue with that. You're right on that, and I'm gonna dig in Atlanta right now. And Kirk Cousins, you're paying all this. You paid this guy all this money, and we gonna get to the worst quarterbacks of the week. But Kirk Cousins, you paid this guy all this money to come over here and change your franchise. Then you draft a quarterback and Michael Penix Jr., who's waiting for his opportunity to go out there and show the NFL what he can do. But you are relying on Kirk Cousins. Your offensive line is suspect. Your wide receivers are okay. Then you're on the defensive side of the ball. Your secondary is I'm sorry, Atlanta, your secondary is trash. Talk to me.
Look, man, like you said, you have the kid Michael Penix sitting there waiting. And the reason you have a first round pick sitting behind someone is so that they can learn, right? I don't think they want Michael Penix learning these behaviors that Kirk Cousins is showing him right now. You know? Um, if I was the head coach, if I was the owner, I would put Michael Penix in for the rest of the season. And I know it's easy to say that because they could still win the division. It's still within reach. But after that embarrassing loss to a Seahawks team who is mid at best, yeah, man, it's time for a change because they have weapons. They have plenty of weapons. And they need the right trigger man. So why not put the rookie in?
Hey, I agree. I agree. And we're gonna get into the next game. And we spoke about this team with the trade they did and acquiring a wide receiver that they desperately needed. And I'm talking about Buffalo when they acquired Amari Cooper to that team. I understand you played the Titans this weekend and you beat them 34-10.
Mm-hmm.
But let's face it, it was the Titans. The Titans are not that good this year. But
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. If Josh Allen continues to have time in the pocket the way he did on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and those receivers get open with the veteran status that Amari Cooper can bring to them into that wide receiver room,
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo's wide receivers can be dangerous. Talk to me.
Yo, look, man, bringing in Amari Cooper was good for multiple reasons. You needed a playmaker. That's number one. Number two, he comes in and he shows those young receivers on the Buffalo Bills side what to do day in and day out, right? And yes, while it was a team that could be beat in Tennessee, that was a game that you had to win. And they did it in convincing fashion. And that is step one to righting the ship.
I mean, yeah. They had bringing back Cook in the backfield. He did his thing. Like I said, Josh Allen, he could run for the MVP candidate. We're gonna talk about that later on in the show. But the
Yep.
next game that we have coming up is Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals going against Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. And a lot of people was giving Deshaun Watson heat for all the sexual allegations. But I'm gonna say this right here and right now. The man got injured on the field, and there were people clapping for that. These players are going out there each week, putting their bodies on the line. And to sit there and applaud a man getting injured on the field is wrong. I understand what he did, what he didn't do. We don't know if he did it. We don't know if he didn't. But the fan bases and some of these NFL teams and what they're doing to these players, cheering for another player to get injured, that's unsportsmanlike. And I do not condone that. I do applaud the Bengals for getting this win. It was a nail biter. They won by a touchdown. And like I said, I feel bad for Deshaun Watson. Hopefully he could bounce back and recover from his injury. And that's just my take on it. Talk to me.
Well, I do agree that you shouldn't wish or hope for anyone to get injured. Clapping when he was injured, while it was distasteful, can you really blame Cleveland? Can you blame them? And what I mean by that is, man, you're representing our city. You're representing the people of Cleveland, not just the Browns. And
Right.
yet here you go again with this another charge. And not to mention, let's take all of that away. We paid you $253 million Fully guaranteed. For what? For what? You're doing worse than Baker Mayfield was doing. That's a problem. Especially when we give you all of this guaranteed money. So now, while I don't condone cheering for someone that's injured, I understand the feelings of the Cleveland Browns stadium and of Cleveland as a city.
I mean, we each have our opinions. I agree with some of the things you said. Howsoever, and this is what certain teams and certain coaches need to realize. When you get in a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, and you're paying attention to what's going on around this player,
Mhm.
you knew the type of player that you were getting coming into the season. And there's where a lot of teams fail. And we're going to dig into that too.
Well,
A
this
lot of
is.
teams fail with these players, signing these players, knowing that they paying attention to the social media and
Mhm.
whatever these players are doing. There are children, there are people that's looking up to these players. And for things like a Deshaun Watson, look at what happened to Ray Rice, a former running back of the
Right,
Baltimore Ravens. When
right.
that video came out,
Hmm.
it's crazy. And he's penalized for that. You know what I'm saying? And
But
to
the
my
difference, but the
Instagram
difference
viewers,
here, man, the difference. Ray Rice didn't play another down of football. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Deshaun Watson is blessed with a $253 million fully guaranteed contract. And let's make it clear. They never found him innocent. He settled. He settled out of court. You understand? That's a whole different conversation and a different ballgame. What happened to Ray Rice? They caught him on camera and he was out of the league. I mean, you got people getting kicked out of the league for less. Look at Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
And you want Cleveland to cheer for this man? And it's like we're willing to forgive you if you win, but you're not even doing that.
Now I'm not taking up for Deshaun Watson. I'm not. I am gonna say this, and I'm gonna end it with this. If you did it, it's gonna come out.
Yeah,
Look what's going on. If you
yeah,
got
yeah,
skeletons in your closet and the NFL's looking at you right now, it's gonna come out.
yeah.
We got a lot of games to talk about. Shout out to my new viewers on Instagram for watching, tuning in. Shout out to the people that's
What's
watching the
going on,
show
y'all? How y'all doing?
and will be watching the show. We do this every week, man. We talk our crap and we
Hey,
love what we do. We
so
got
check this
more
out.
games to cover.
A little announcement: 100 yards and running will be on YouTube. We'll have a YouTube channel. Um, we'll set up everything. You know what I mean? So everybody that's watching right now, we thank you. We're gonna get better. The production is gonna get better. Just stick with us, man, and it's gonna be a wild ride.
Like I said, shout out to the people watching. We got games. This game right here, it was a nail biter for me. And it probably was hurtful for you. But I'm going to go ahead and call it what it is. Texans, Packers, Jordan Love. I got to give him his flowers. Everybody, even me, was not a believer.
Mhm.
But
I'm still,
Green Bay went
yeah,
out there and did what they were supposed to do.
yeah, man. Everybody's entitled to having a bad game. The Texans had a bad game. You know,
Indeed. And
there was
I'm not
there,
disagreeing
there
with you.
was
Like I said, every week,
there
any
was
team,
some.
any team, and any given Sunday can beat you. And
Yeah,
this proved it.
yeah, because as great as the media is trying to make Jordan Love, his play has not shown it. Right. So beating the Texans, a team that's 5-2 now. Um. Okay. Yeah. You did the damn thing. You took out a team, but every year, every team has a loss that they should have had. Right? The Texans shot themselves in the foot, and to their credit, the Packers capitalized, and that's great. That's wonderful for them. But like I've said many a times about Jordan Love, he has to repeat, play, repeat. You know what I mean? Show that you can be that captivating leader of the Green Bay Packers that they're trying to make you out to be.
We gonna talk about MVP candidates and going into the show. And so far, number 5 on my list, and I'm gonna give you my list as we going on to the show. But number 5 right now for me is Jordan Love.
And nah, I can't agree with that one. Can't agree with that one at all. Um, People are going to be shocked, but my number 5 pick is Patrick Mahomes. Yeah,
We're gonna talk about Kansas City. We're gonna
yeah.
talk about that game. But moving on, and this game wasn't impressive, but it was a game, and we have to talk about it. Dolphins, Colts. The Colts pulling this one up, winning by a score of 16-10. The Dolphins. I don't know what's going on in Miami.
We
I
know
know
what's
you
going
guys
on.
are waiting for Tua to come back. You're
They
waiting for
keep
him to clear protocol and all that. You're waiting for him to clear practicing so he can practice on the field, seeing if he can take contact. Is it too early for Tua?
Let's be honest, man.
Maybe.
Let's be honest. He's not gonna come back, and the reason he's not gonna come back is because the the concussions that he receives on a like almost normal basis, and that's not normal for anyone, right? The Dolphins, as soon as Tua went down, that team went down. Because let's be honest, the Colts aren't that good of a team. Anthony Richardson in the Colts, he was benched for Flacco. And that should tell you something. You know what I mean? Flacco has been on like 5 different teams since he won that Super Bowl. And so what is happening here? You're okay, you beat the team that had a backup quarterback. Congratulations, right? But the Colts have much more significant problems than just quarterback. They have
Yeah.
a management issue, they have a defensive issue. It's too many things. I mean, there's a good win, but it's not the end all be all.
I mean, it's not. It's not. Moving on to one of the, and this to me was the game of the week. A competitive NFC North. Lions, Vikings, and we talking about MVP candidates. Number 4 to me is Jared Goff. Here's why. The man is going out there each week and he is doing what I wanted him to do a while ago. He's being patient.
Mhm.
He's absorbing the defense. He is paying attention to the offensive line. You got a running back. You not one, 2 running backs that can run and get you more than 5 yards. You got Amon St. Brown. You got receivers over there that's hungry. I'm not sleeping on the Vikings, and y'all know me. I've been raving about this man all week. Sam Darnold this, Sam Darnold that. Maybe I was wrong about the Vikings. Just
Maybe I
yet,
was right about the Vikings. Maybe I
but
was right about Sam Darnold.
I mean,
Look, man.
the
Look.
Lions pulled this one off, winning by a score of 31-29, ending the Vikings' undefeated streak and taking first place in the NFC North.
Listen, man. The Lions and Jared Goff. Look, first of all, let's clap it up for Dan Campbell. Okay.
Stan Campbell,
He
in
surrounds
my
his
eyes, he should be coach of the year. But go ahead.
he surrounds his young quarterback with a plethora of weapons. Like you said, they have 2 running backs, a plethora of young wide receivers, those tight ends that they use. They work in unison. and that makes Jared Goff's job that much easier when you have a pocket that you can sit in for a minute because you know you're not gonna get hit. You know what I mean? That is what every team is looking for. And honestly, like I mentioned before, the NFC is not that strong. So the Lions could be the front runner for it to get that NFC championship to go to the Super Bowl.
I can see that. I'm not disagreeing with that. Y'all see the hat in the background. Y'all know where I'm going next. In his return to MetLife Stadium, and this one is biting Giants fans in the behind. Saquon Barkley and the newly Philadelphia Eagles cruised by the Giants, beating them by a score of 28-3. 3 points.
Yeah.
3 points.
So
That's all y'all did. Y'all come. Singletary comes back. Malik Neighbors comes back.
Yeah.
What does Daniel Jones do?
Nothing.
What does Daniel Jones do?
He does Daniel Jones things.
Absolutely nothing.
Daniel Jones does Daniel Jones type activity. That's what he does. And
Daniel Jones is trash. I'm going back.
it took a beating like this to happen for the Giants to announce that he is going to be on the bench. And that is crazy. Did you look? I looked in the first quarter. Saquon Barkley already had 97 yards and a touchdown. How is that possible?
Shout out to my sister Charlene.
You know what I mean? Like Saquon Barkley, he had something to prove against the Giants, and that
He did.
was you should have never let me go, you dumb assholes.
I told you this one. The man ran all over the Giants defense. And I get it that the Giants is having injuries on both sides of the ball. You're missing Kayvon Thibodeau, one of the key defenders in the New York Giants. To me, he's the leader of that Giants defense.
Mm-hmm.
Losing a player like that, and then your secondary is not doing absolutely nothing. The way, and you had Jalen Hurts on the fourth down. You let him complete damn near 50 yards to a wide open A.J. Brown for a touchdown.
Yep.
That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. And I'm going to get into a question I'm going to ask you during the show as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. We had the Rams. We had the Raiders. Two teams, to me, who try to identify themselves. Let's call it what it is. They're really looking for identity on between the Raiders and the Rams. Luckily, the Rams won this one by a score of 20-15. Matt Stafford and Sean McVay and those Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to keep saying this about the Rams. Ever since number 99 retired, you guys have not been the same at all, whatsoever. Now look at you. You're looking to find identity. You're looking to figure out who you are. And you beat the Raiders. The Raiders, ladies and gentlemen, don't have a quarterback. The coach is trying to identify who he is as a coach. Your defense, you're losing key players on both sides of the ball. Matt Crosby talking about he might be on his way out the door. It's not looking good in Oakland either. And I don't understand it. Moving on, we had the Commanders and Panthers, where this game was a completely and total blowout. The Commanders blew these guys out 40-7. That is sad. That is unacceptable. I understand Jaden Daniels went out, but you played the Panthers. And to put up 40 points while losing your quarterback, and they talk about a rib injury week to week, Washington still put up 40, and they're competing in the NFC too.
Is that,
Talk to me about this one.
listen, man, is that not indicative of what they are? I'm talking about the Panthers. Is that not what they've been showing us since day one of Bryce Young being their quarterback? They have not built anything around this man. They have not given him proper weapons. They have not given him proper protection. Their defense is laughable. And they got exactly what they deserve. Point blank
To
period.
me, they're fighting for a number one draft pick that they possibly might not get.
Right.
That's what it is. Carolina is desperately looking for help. Y'all looking for that next coach. Y'all looking for that next quarterback. You failed since Cam Newton. You haven't been to the Super Bowl since Cam Newton.
Right.
And even he couldn't even bring a Super Bowl home to y'all. So what is that saying about Carolina?
It says that Carolina has a lot more work to do. They have a lot more work in the coaching department that they need. They have a lot more work in looking for those key players. They it's something that they haven't been able to achieve since the days of Cam Newton.
Yeah. America's game of the week. We had a Super Bowl rematch. Kansas City, 49ers. Brock Purdy against Patrick Mahomes. The only team left in the NFL who is unbeaten, ladies and gentlemen. You heard me. And they're doing all of this. Receivers are out. Their running back is out. Look at the key players that Kansas City has on the field. Bringing back Kareem Hunt. Sure, you lose Ray Rice and Isaiah Pacheco, but look at what Kansas City are doing. They are finding ways to win games. I get that Patrick Mahomes is six. He has 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions all year round. But I'm giving this man his credit right now. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be dangerous come playoff time. I wouldn't be surprised if they were number one. And they know, and they are finding ways, and that's what makes them dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. They are finding ways to continuously win football games each week, coming from a bye week, putting up the numbers that they're putting up. Look at the defense. The defense is stopping the run. Those boys in the backfield are playing football. They are looking in the quarterback's eyes. They are looking in the receiver's eyes. They are looking at how these receivers are running these routes, and they are putting a stop. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying it right here. You heard it from me. I think Kansas City has a strong chance of pulling off this repeat this year. Talk to me.
Listen, man, the Kansas City Chiefs, they do, but it's not for what you're mentioning. There's nobody that can compete with them on a strategic level, right? Because even when all those players were out, you saw they continued to get those victories. Okay.
Shout out to the kids. We love the kids.
Yeah, man, but yeah, there's absolutely no way that people can strategize around them, and that's because of their coach, their head coach, Andy Reid. Andy Reid is one of the most brilliant coaches to have ever done this. I honestly don't know why he never got to the Super Bowl when he was in Philly, but he is making up for that now in Kansas City, and he's going to be one of the Hall of Fame, legendary Mount Rushmore coaches when it's all said and done.
I have to correct you. He did make a Super Bowl appearance with Philly, but we know the
He
story. What
didn't
happened with
win
that?
a Super
He
Bowl.
didn't win because he played Tom Brady and the New England Patriots.
Oh,
But we gonna this game Sunday night, New York, and we almost hit my worst quarterback of the list week. I got 2 more games to go, and then we're gonna talk about something. Jets Steelers. Everybody was high on Devontae Adams. Oh, the Jets got Devontae. You get rid of Robert Saleh. Aaron Rodgers. When? Oh, we're not doing enough. Look at what you are doing. You're not throwing touchdown. You threw more interceptions than you are throwing touchdowns. Then your running back, you got two dominant running backs who's not producing. New York, it's not looking bad. And here's the question I wanted to ask you during the show. What New York team is having the worst season in the NFL right now? Is it the New York Jets or the New York Giants?
I'm gonna say the New York Jets, and here's the reason why. The Giants had Daniel Jones, and I think after about the third year, they knew what he was. They were trying to replace him in the draft this year, but they couldn't. The Jets went out and got Aaron freaking Rodgers. They've given this man everything around him, and it just ain't working. And that is why the Jets have it worse than the New York Giants right now. Because guess what? That salary that you're paying Aaron Rodgers, it ain't going nowhere. It's not going anywhere, man. Like it's laughable. Just like the Saints, it is laughable how bad these guys are. And they tried to go and get Devontae Adams because they thought they would put a Band-Aid over everybody. That everybody be like, yeah, we got Devontae. But what did that do?
The Jets went and got Devontae Adams because let's face it, they thought Devontae Adams was going to come over there and save their season.
Yeah.
You lost to Pittsburgh and Mike Tomlin. And I got to give Mike Tomlin credit. I was sitting here ragging about Russell Wilson. Oh, once they started Russell Wilson, everybody, even me, oh, that's an easy win for the Jets. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson went out there and played like the old Russell Wilson we used to seeing in Seattle. He was a little rusty at the beginning. The ball kept hitting the turf a little bit, but that second half, he went out there and showed the NFL to me and the Jets that he is still capable in this, that I can give me that football. I'm still in this game. Put me out there, coach. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to put some numbers up. And that's exactly what he did to the Jets.
Yes, it is. Congratulations. Now, look, if Russell Wilson goes and wins another Super Bowl, you got to at some point talk about how good it is. You have to. It can't just be because of the Legion of Boom anymore or because of Marshawn Lynch. It just can't.
He has a young team now, and to me, Pittsburgh is another team that could be slept on in the playoffs that could take you out any given minute. Monday night, we had two games. We had the Ravens and Lamar Jackson going against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we had Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers going against Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Number 3, and I'm talking about my most improved quarterbacks right now. Number 3 on my list right now, I'm going to say it. I will have to give number 3 to Josh Allen. Josh Allen is going to improve. Josh Allen with the acquiring of Amari Cooper and Buffalo, and we've been saying it all week. Buffalo is only going to get better. They're only going to get better from here. But let's talk about Lamar. Lamar is number 2 on my list because, let's face it, the decoy of him and Derrick Henry in the backfield is brilliant.
Yep.
Did you see what Derrick Henry was doing to them boys last night?
I saw.
He was running all over them boys like he was a Tonka truck. Move out my way. I'm going to run 80 yards down the touchdown, and I'm going to look at you like you're a damn fool, like you're stupid. You ain't stopping me. I'm gone.
This is what they should have been doing. You don't have a monster like Derrick Henry and choose not to use him. That's ignorant. They found a formula. Now that you have to worry about Derrick Henry busting one out the left side, now you got to worry about Lamar Jackson taking off on the other side. Oh, and he can throw the ball, right? So
And
it's a
that's
dangerous
dangerous. That's
weapon.
even not the country. That's even more dangerous about Lamar because he got the weapons. He got Zay Flowers, but it's
Yeah.
not only Zay Flowers that's stepping up. It's them other receivers. It's the tight ends he got, and Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson threw 5 touchdown passes, and I haven't seen that from a quarterback in a long time.
Right.
I was impressed by what I seen from Lamar last night. As far as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go, starting your wide receiver when he's injured and Mike Evans was a bad call. Then keeping Chris Godwin out there and you lose him, it's not looking good for Tampa. Y'all started off hot, but let's face it, I even said this. Tampa Bay is going to really start playing like Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me.
Those are decisions. If I'm an owner and I see that decision being made, dude is fired right away. If my two leading receivers are injured and you put them on the field anyway, and you're losing more than you're showing me that they can still play. No, you're fired, bro. Especially if I'm an owner that's invested. Because some of these owners they don't care. They just have a football team because they wanted a football team because it generates revenue. But some football player teams from owners they actually care about winning, right?
That's why, and not to cut you off, that's why the Jets got rid of Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
We get that you're this great defensive-minded coach. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna get the best defense you can do on the best opportunity to win the football game, just to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop it, Todd. This ain't the year for y'all too. And this one was a shocker to me. This last game, and then we're gonna get deep into our list. Man, Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert.
That was
Justin
a
Herbert.
name.
I've been saying this about Justin Herbert since he got drafted to the NFL. Justin Herbert needs the right type of coach and the right type of coordinators to work with him, with that team. He has the ability, he has the talent.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what this kid can go out there and do. The
Mm-hmm.
problem with the Chargers to me is this. They fold and choke sometimes in the second half. You have a problem stopping the run. You got Khalil Mack. You got all these powerful guys in the back that can stop the run, but they can't stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
Just
So
like
it has to be.
Dallas, and they lucky that Dallas. I can't rag on you this week because you're on your bye week. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, man, it has to be. Jim Harbaugh. He comes into San Diego, or sorry, to Los Angeles, and there's got to be a shift. There's some players that even like a Khalil Mack, I can trade you and get a lot of picks for you because you're just not working out. Some coaches like Jim Harbaugh, like Sean Payton, like what's dude for the Steelers? I'm sorry, I'm just drawing a blank.
Mike
There's
Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin. Thank you. They kick out players and people are like, "What? What? Look what Mike Tomlin did. He threw out Kenny Pickett." And everybody's like, "How could you do that? You drafted him." Well, clearly he saw something on a daily basis that wasn't working. And so I think in this case, Jim Harbaugh is going to do the same thing. At the end of this season, I guarantee you there will be a fire sale of players.
Worst quarterback of the week. I love this session right here. It's going to 3 players this week, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1 is Aaron Rodgers. I hate to say it. Aaron, You wanted the weapons. You got them. You did absolutely nothing with it. Nothing.
Yes.
You had all these higher phrases about Devontae Adams coming and changing the culture. Oh, Devontae Adams is coming to the Jets. Oh, we're going to start winning some football games.
Oh, man, the guy's 33, 32,
I was
33.
wrong when I said the Jets was going to make a playoff push. I kicked myself in the mouth by saying that.
Well, look, I'm gonna be fair. This is Aaron Rodgers' first year with the Jets, right? Because last year, on the first snap of the season, he got injured. So technically, this is his first year with the Jets. So he's got to figure some things out.
Granted, but to let your coach go and firing that staff and getting Devontae Adams and throwing these interceptions, you see what's going on around you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the same Aaron Rodgers.
No.
You got Mike Williams. You see, and this play kills me until this day. You got Mike Williams wide open. Stephon Gilmore was nowhere near him. You had Garrett Wilson, and this was before you got Devontae Adams. You had Garrett Wilson wide open in the left. Wide open. What does Aaron do?
Do you want to know what he evolved into? You don't know what he evolved into? Brett Favre.
Thank you. Aaron Rodgers is this generation's Brett Favre.
Yes.
The second worst quarterback of the week, ladies and gentlemen. It's another New York fan. I'm sorry. Danny Dimes. I have to give it to him. Daniel Jones. You did absolutely nothing.
Let me ask you a question, okay? Because when he got drafted, everybody was like, who?
I was like, who the heck is Daniel Jones? Nobody knew who Daniel Jones was until he got drafted.
Bro, even the analysts were sitting there like, who did they just draft? So are you really surprised that this guy didn't work out?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. And another quarterback, and then the worst quarterback of the week list, number 3 this week, Atlanta and Kirk Cousins. You're paying this man all of this money to come to your franchise and do what? Now, I'm not going to say Atlanta don't have the talent, because they do.
They do.
But Kirk Cousins?
Mm-hmm.
I see why the Vikings let him go. Sam Darnold was doing a way better job than you did over there, and that's sad.
That is true.
Kirk Cousins, you round off the worst quarterback of the week list. Now, the most improved quarterbacks of the week. Number 1, I said his name before. I have to give it to Mr. Jared Goff.
Yeah.
These past couple of games that Jared Goff has been playing, he has not thrown one interception yet. Detroit has not turned the ball over yet in a long time. And to me, I know my brother Chaos going to watch this show, shouting out Detroit, but I'm going to call it like I see it.
Mm-hmm.
The coach of the year this year, it's a toss-up to me. It's between Dan Campbell and Andy Reid.
I mean, okay, but look, but is that fair? All right.
I mean, it's not. Look at the way that these guys are coaching their teams.
I get it. Andy Reid, to say that, is it fair because they're Super Bowl champs and da-da-da-da, he's still winning. So I guess a win is a win is a win, right? So, yes, okay. Andy Reid.
Man, after this week 7, who do you see coming out in the AFC?
I don't think my mind has changed too much Except the Denver Broncos. I think Sean Payton rights that ship and gets them into the playoffs. As much as I don't want to say that, I think he does. The other teams in the AFC, of course, you got Kansas City, you got Baltimore, you got Houston, and man, the AFC East is such a toss up. But you go with Buffalo. You go with Buffalo to round out those top four. It's gonna
The
be competitive.
AFC East, let's call it like it is, bro. That should be easy to you because it ain't gonna be the Jets, not this season. It ain't gonna be the Patriots, not this season. They got a worse record than the Jets do, and they play each other coming up. And the Dolphins is just going to sit back like this. Please let Tua come back and play and change our season. That's not going to happen either. I'm sorry. I got Kansas City. It's a toss-up between Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
Yeah.
Which one of y'all want it more?
Yeah.
Now, the NFC, it's a little tricky to me because, yeah, you got Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got teams that's surprising me that might make some noise, like a Washington.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, now that Philly think they could be healthy and they got their players back, Philly could be dangerous in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about that. Philly if Philly and Dallas is in the same boat with me, not so much Philly. Dallas is the problem. Because you paid Dak, you paid CD. Let's see if you can win some football games now. Now that you're in the playoffs and you're playing teams like a Green Bay, you're playing teams like Detroit, who might get a first-round bye this week. We don't know what can happen. Anything can happen in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
The NFC, to me, is wide open. And like a lot of people say, that's the weakest division to me. The AFC is more competitive to me in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The NFC is these coaches are looking for identity to find out who they are and what they can bring to the table and how they can change their team around.
Honestly,
it's just not competitive to me like the AFC. The AFC, you got competitive quarterbacks everywhere, including old Aaron Rodgers, minus him throwing interception after interception, but he still goes out there and try to get his team a victory. They stink on offense, but they're still good on defense, and it's sad because you let go of your coach who tried to bring some identity to you, and what do?
yeah. I mean, look, the NFC as a whole, the only division within that conference that I see is going to be a dogfight is the NFC North. It's the only division.
It is going to be a dogfight in the NFC North. It really is.
Yes.
Next
Other
week,
than
Thursday.
that, every division within the conference is the writings on the wall for each division.
Next week, week 8, starting Thursday, we got the Vikings, who lost a heartbreaker to the Lions against the Rams, who just won the game. And who do you see coming out this game?
Honestly, the Vikings, they took a slap in the face, but a good team would rebound, and they won't lose 2 in a row.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Well, that was a recap of week 7, but the show is not over because I want to talk about a couple of things that's going on in college football. We don't do this on this show, but we're doing it today. There was a lot of college football games that happened over the weekend, and we're not going to cover all of them. I'm just going to cover the main ones. Alabama.
Yeah.
Alabama losing, and I knew they was going to lose to this team because this team, let's face it, they hungry this year and they could be a threat. Talk to me about that game.
Look, man, Alabama is one of those teams that they lost Nick Saban, right? So they're bouncing back, regardless on how many years it's been, regardless on they need to find their identity. Because Nick Saban before could be like, yo, I'm Nick Saban, come join my team. And everybody be like, yes, please. That's not the case anymore. Especially with the NIL deal. It's about who can offer who the most money, right? Um, and Bama, unfortunately, is dealing with trying to figure out where they fit in this new system of college football. And they got smacked in the face, man. I'm
They got
sorry.
smacked in the face indeed. Indeed. Out of all the college football games and all the NFL games that we had over the weekend, what was the most interesting one to you?
Bro, listen. Ohio State and Oregon.
Oh yeah. Oh
This,
yeah.
you know what pisses me off about this game? 2 weeks, bro. 2 days later, they implement a new rule saying that they cannot affect the runoff the way that they did. Because see, at the ass end of the play, Ohio State would have had a chance if this rule now was implemented. But now it will be. But Oregon snuck past Ohio State, and it was a dogfight. Oh my God, it was a dogfight the entire game. The
It
offenses
was.
on both sides were clicking. I mean, the defenses were trash, but that's to be expected in a college game, right? Um, yeah, I mean, if there's ever a game that nobody will ever watch football, and they were like, "Hey, I want to give football a try," I would tell them to watch that game. It was that much of a dogfight.
The most improved play this week. The most improved play to me this week, it goes to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And here's why. That scramble against the 49ers where he put Mustafa on his behind in the end zone,
Yeah.
nobody expected that from Patrick Mahomes. He put that boy on the ground like he was a pancake. Get out my way is what he did.
Mhm.
Man, for a quarterback of his tenure and his nature, and we don't normally see that from Patrick Mahomes to do something like that, was impressive. But ladies and gentlemen, going deep into the show, I want to get this off my chest. I got to shout out to, like I said at the beginning of the show, there are two events that you need to check out this upcoming Saturday. If you ain't doing nothing on your schedule, check it out. Let's check out the first one. The first one is the pop-up Halloween special, the Halloween rodeo they got going on in Brooklyn on the 26th. And my boy Skrilla the Great in the Southwestern Western District, Oktoberfest 2 coming up. He's going against NXT Lexus King. That's coming up. Shout out to my boy Skrilla the Great. So go check those two out, ladies and gentlemen. You will not be disappointed. Now, with these games coming up next week, do you see any changes going on this week?
Honestly, with the slate of games that are coming up, I don't. Um, I don't see any change for New Orleans. I see Houston bouncing back. I see Minnesota bouncing back. Um, but I think at this point in the season, we know what every team is and we know what they're gonna do. We know what they're about.
With New York, both teams coming up this week, playing two tough teams. Starting with the Jets and the Giants. The Jets got the Patriots coming up. The Giants is going to that Steel City in Pittsburgh to take on what quarterback in the Steelers? We don't know. But both New York teams coming up in this week with two tough games. What New York team do you see pulling off a victory this week?
Ooh. I could see the Jets beating the Patriots. Um, because they always have a rival. No matter if it was Tom Brady and the Patriots versus, I don't know, Chad Henne and the New York Jets, like they're always a rival. Any in divisional game, you're always gonna lose one or let one slip by that you shouldn't have. And the New York Jets do have a solid team. They just need to learn how to put it together. So I would take the Jets for this one.
Giants, you are going to Pittsburgh this week. You don't know who you're playing against. You don't know if you're playing Justin Fields or Russell Wilson again.
Bro, let me ask you a question. Do you think Mike Tomlin is doing this on purpose?
What I think Mike Tomlin is doing as the season progresses in Pittsburgh, he wants to find that quarterback who's going to lead him to the promised land. And I say
Well,
that because of this. You got two talented quarterbacks in your backfield in Justin Fields and Russell Wilson.
mhm.
In my eyes, and this is only my eyes, everybody else can feel a certain way. My eyes, the quarterback that Pittsburgh should start and finish with is Justin Fields. He's younger,
Mhm.
he's faster, and I'm not taking anything away from Russell Wilson. But the offense looks better to me with Justin Fields in the backfield.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, moving forward, back to the Giants in this game. I am going to say this about their defense. Their defense is improving. Like I said, it depends on what quarterback Mike Tomlin is going to start with. We saw what Russell did, and he played the Jets. But if he could get two in a row against back-to-back New York teams coming into your home and Pittsburgh, then I say, why not give Russell a chance? He did it to the Jets. Let's see what he can do to the Giants. Now, my question for you, out of all these teams and the NFL that's being coached, who gets Coach of the Year?
If and I know this is going to seem hella biased, but if Houston finishes on top, even if they get a conference championship, I believe that the Houston head coach deserves Coach of the Year for one reason and one reason only. This team has never, ever been to an AFC championship game.
No.
They have never even smelled a Super Bowl. And right now
Do you
they're
think
playing
Houston could
like
get past the first round?
I think they could with CJ Stroud. I think they could because honestly, before it was a quarterback play. It was Case Keenum or David Carr or Matt Schaub or TJ Yates or all these
Right.
quarterbacks were not it. But I
I
believe
guess CJ Stroud is putting up these numbers. I guess CJ Stroud is the quarterback of the future. But
yes,
the playoffs is a whole different ball game.
it
And
is.
you gotta play teams like Buffalo,
Yep.
KC, Baltimore. And it used to be the Bengals and I'm not going to count the Bengals out because they got one of the easiest schedules coming up.
Yeah.
They could go on a hell of a run right now and compete in the AFC, but I'm not sleeping on the Houston Texans. It could be their year. We just gonna have to wait and see. as these weeks go by. And ladies and gentlemen, these weeks just keep getting better and better. Folks, what a show we had. That was our show. Tune in this Saturday, to my brother's wrestling show. I'm the co-host. Tune in to my brothers in the Family Meeting podcast coming down the road as they continue their journey to put smiles on your beautiful faces. Tune in next week, week 8. We got some games coming up. We got some games to talk about. Tune in Saturday, like I said. Then you got the Halloween Fest coming up, the pop-up Powerbomb Halloween Rodeo this weekend, the 26th in Brooklyn. Go check that out. Also, coming up this weekend, we have the Deep South Wrestling October Rush 2, where we have my brother Skrilla the Great, going one-on-one with NXT's Lexis Kane. I want to thank my future viewers for watching. I want to thank my viewers for watching. Tune in as we wrap up week 8 in the NFL. Stay blessed. Be safe. God bless y'all. We out.